Okay, we are excited to welcome Jason Lehman, talented musician on the show. And Jason, first of all, thank you for coming, and it's a pleasure to have you on the Halftime Howie Show.
It's very nice of you to ask me, Howie. Thank you very much.
All right, it's our pleasure. Now, talk about where and when your music passion was ignited. At what age did you really get that bug? Say, hey, I really dig music. I really want to do this, maybe even professionally. When did you get that bug early on?
The thing that kind of put it over the top was my mom took me to see the movie La Bamba. Cool. And for some reason, even though I had grown up with MTV and, you know, other stuff with regards to music, and I was a fan of songs, and I would sing songs and stuff, something about that movie made me want to kind of like be Richie Valens or Lou Diamond Phillips.
Very cool. And when did you get into playing the guitar?
Right after that. My mom took me to, I remember walking out of the theater, I said, I have to get a guitar. And her exact response, I still remember, she was like, of course you do. And then my parents got me a classical guitar, and I started taking guitar lessons at this kind of conservatory program twice a week after school. So I wasn't doing anything remotely resembling the music from La Bamba. I was doing like classical music, and kind of not particularly pleased about that. But that was, that was the beginning. It was a good foundation.
And when did you get serious where you started performing on a fairly regular basis, doing gigs and stuff like that?
I got serious about it in high school. I had some friends in high school that were also musicians, and one of my friends, who's still one of my best friends today, who was by far the best musician that we had in our school. And he kind of coaxed me into being in a band with him. And it was just fun. And like the music that we were listening to, we were playing. And then once I got to college is when I started kind of finding opportunities to gig on a regular basis.
Awesome. Now, who would you describe as some of your musical influences, people that, you kind of say, wow, that guy's great, or she's great, or he's great, I want to be like them. Who's some of those early musical influences?
Pearl Jam, Slash from Guns N' Roses, Kurt Cobain, the Black Crowes, certain bands like that, U2, I remember, kind of like the big rock bands of that time were. But I would say more than anything, the band that if I could have traded my soul to be part of at that time, it would have been Pearl Jam.
Okay. And by the way, it's funny, whenever I hear Pearl Jam, I always think of Theo Epstein, who's the general manager, actually the president of the Chicago Cubs, because he always says his favorite band is Pearl Jam. And he followed them when he was the GM of the Red Sox, and then from Chicago, they're at Wrigley all the time. So whenever you think of them, Pearl Jam, Chicago, and you must love watching them in concert.
Over the years, I still get a kick out of seeing them. There's no doubt about that. But it's like any band that releases albums over the course of, it's been like 30 years at this point. I mean, it's not quite the same level of insanity as a fan that it was once upon a time. I mean, but there's a nostalgia there, and I still, I enjoy seeing them, hearing the songs that I kind of grew up listening to and stuff like that. That definitely never goes away. I think there's like an umbilical cord that you maintain with like the bands that kind of like define your youth. You just never get them totally out of your head.
All right, very cool. Now, you're a very busy musician. You always have gigs. What are some of the gigs that you have coming up that you'd like to promote?
Well, the truth is, as much as I'd love to promote gigs, most of the gigs that I do these days are not for the public. Every once in a while I do bar gigs or venue gigs, but most of the stuff that I do these days is corporate events and private events for hire. So as many gigs as I do, there's very few of them that I can actually invite people to. But I have a website. It's jasonlmusic.com, Jason, the letter L, music.com. I keep my schedule on there. When I do have public gigs that come up, I always kind of make a point of notating those on the website. So that's a good place for anybody who might watch this and be like, when's that guy playing?
So a big catering outfit, a company like that would be a good connection with you, because maybe some of their big corporate events that need a really good musician.
Yeah, I don't maintain relationships with places like that much. I wind up playing sometimes in places like that because of the clients, but I'm more like it's like a situation where I have a direct relationship with the people that hire me, not so much with the venues where I
Okay.
wind up playing. So, you know, the venue is, every once in a while somebody will say, hey, you know, can we take your card and can we suggest you to people? But for the most part, I maintain personal relationships with people.
And that's what makes it go.
That's the engine, that's the whole thing.
All right. So what two songs we're going to open up with tonight?
So I thought I'd start out with an original song. It's not my wife's favorite. It's called "What Your Girlfriend Don't Know," and I'll play. Figure I'll play another song that's. I'll figure it out as I go, but I'm not sure the second one yet. But I'll play something that some of the listeners might know.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's give it up for Jason Liebman.